about being at home this early. And on a live stream on Twitch the other night, he had this to say about Joel Embiid.
I mean, this is my personal opinion on basketball. Some of y'all might disagree. You know what I mean? But argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history. Flops. He know it. This ain't breaking news. This ain't, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
All right, so it's fascinating that he chose to say that. And I'm just going to tell you straight up what happened. 1 hour ago, for those of you who are not with us, we played that sound, and it was absolutely my intention to get a quick thought on it from our group and then dive into sort of a post-mortem on the Celtics season. And it turned into 11 minutes of people yelling at each other over flopping in the NBA, which was too interesting just to leave alone. But I'm going to leave it alone this time. If you want it, we had that conversation. Yeah. I want to talk about the Celtics win, man. I watched every second of the game on Saturday night. It was extraordinarily dramatic. And it was obviously a shame, whatever team you're rooting for, that Tatum isn't able to play out there, although I will always say I believe they made the right decision being as cautious as they needed to be. However, all of that aside, what are the right things to say about this Celtics season that came to an end Saturday night at home?
Well, that game, Joe Mazzulla, he started a lineup that he had never basically played before in Game 7. He started 3 guys who ended up not scoring. I mean, it was really a fascinating move because he felt like they couldn't match up with Embiid. He starts Ron Harper Jr., he starts Luka Garza, he starts Baylor Shireman, he takes Nimi Keita, his best big man, puts him to the bench. I don't even know what to make of it, okay? So that's one thing that we will never know if he had gone a different direction. Bottom line, it's a 1 or 2 point game with 5 minutes to go. It still comes down to who can execute better. And the Celtics in this series just couldn't make a three-pointer. And when they were in trouble and they were down by 1 point or 3 points in the last 3 minutes, they did not look to do anything but shoot three-pointers. This is who they are. This is who they've been. Now, when you look at the three-point shot, Greeny, 1 out of 3 is considered acceptable. 2 out of 5 is considered great. The Celtics have been dedicated to the three-point shot for 5 years. If you go back and look, they have 5 consecutive 50-win seasons. They have gone to the finals in 2 of those 5 years. They have won 1 of those 2 finals. They have gone to the finals in 1 of the last 3 years. They won a championship 2 years ago. I will just say to you that this is, if you want to play for the three-point shot, these are the percentages that you're going to have to live with. These are the percent 2 out of 5. That's what you're going to get. And I don't see Joe Mazzulla, quite frankly, changing the way he plays. This is what it is. 2 out of 5 finals. Congratulations.
So I want to sort of share the reaction that I got to something. Social media is probably not the best place in the world to gauge reaction. But I posted after that game, I admire the Celtics. I admire the way that I have so much respect for the way they approach their season. This was a season that many people would have told them to write off and tank and all the rest of that. And everything from Jaylen Brown playing an MVP level to Jason Tatum busting it to get back when he did and everything else. I have great respect for the way they approached their season. And their fans could not have gone at me harder. Greeny, they're up 3-1. All they do is shoot threes. Until we get a new coach out there who knows basketball, all we're doing is chucking. Like, their own fans were furious at the way it ended for exactly the reasons that Windy is talking about. So, Monica, what are your thoughts? Do the Celtics just need to, they're so analytics driven, do they need to have a second pitch?
The thing about it, Greeny, is we didn't get to 2026 NBA because of analytics. There is a feel for the game. There is understanding what the defense is or isn't giving in terms of taking away. We talked about it a little bit earlier when we touched on this conversation. Joel Embiid can shoot threes, but in this matchup, he had the advantage in the paint. Is that something that you saw during the regular season? No. 1, because he wasn't healthy. But 2, the regular season, we all know, is a little bit of a different beast. I still think there has to be a feel to the game. But to Wendy's point, if you ask any organization that has not won a championship, we'll take shooting threes and getting 1 out of the 2 in the last 5 years that we've been there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But when you look at the Celtics and we were watching them come back and claw back, they had an opportunity with about, 4.5 minutes left?
Yeah, it's right there.
1 point game. And look at, and it's a minute spot. Peyton Pritchard's in the corner, shoots a 3, bricks it. But if you take it back, Nimi Keita is open for a split second. They're down 1. They're stalking Philadelphia. If they get a 2, in that moment, if they don't just stick to their philosophy and they play basketball the way that you were just taught, get the ball as close to the basket as possible, maybe they go up one, and that buries Philadelphia confidence-wise, and they're moving on to the second.
And then Maxey makes his 2 drives to the basket,
and the game's over.
Win the game. But you look at that 1 for 12 to close the game, including 10 consecutive misses. I don't have how many of those were threes, but it felt like all of them. And Windy, I think Joe Mazzulla might tell you in an honest moment, we had the looks we wanted. Derek White had open looks. Peyton Pritchard had open looks. Hauser had an open look in there. They just didn't go, and if it's a make-or-miss league. And if they don't go, I guess you're going to lose. The argument against it might be, you might have had advantages in other places in this series and some others that you've lost, and you never made the decision to see if those might work for you.
He wouldn't maybe tell you that. He absolutely would tell you that. Joe Mazzulla has doubled, tripled, quadrupled, quintupled down on this strategy for years now. This is how they won the championship. This is how they were built. If Jason Tatum was out there, they would have continued to shoot those threes, and maybe they don't go 1 of 12. Maybe they go 4 of 12 and they win the game. This is how the Celtics are going to play. Brad Stevens ratifies it. The players ratify it. It's not about flopping. It's not about anything like that. It's about a strategy that they have employed. They have won. They have gone to the finals 2 out of 5 years. They won 1 of those 2 finals. By analytics, that's success. It doesn't feel like success today, but Joe Mazzulla would probably tell you 2 out of 5 is successful three-point shooting.
It doesn't feel like success because they've been the better team in so many of these series that they've lost, right?
But were they the better team versus this healthy Philly squad?
Wait, hold on. Let's go back.
Okay, all right, let's go back. Okay.
In 2022, it was Steph Curry and a bunch of Tito's, and they were up 2 games to 1 with a game 4 on their home floor, and they blew that,
They never won another game. Yeah.
Right. In 23, they were down 3-0 to the Miami Heat, an 8th seed. It came back and had a game 7 on the home floor. What did they do? They blew that. They blew to the Knicks last year, a series they were heavily favored in. They blew it to the 76ers, a series they were heavily favored in, and with a 3-1 lead. Yes, it works. They won the championship in it, but they've had some big-time failures.
Finish the thought, Monica.
I love the history that you just laid out, but we can't have it both ways. Earlier today, we said with Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, this team that played 23 games with those guys, that's not a 7th seed or whatever the seeding was. So is it both ways? To me, yes, we still point to the 3-point line, but I would argue that Philly almost was the better team.
Okay, we continue this debate. This is why this was
not
better
almost,
than
they were.
Dream last night.
This is my personal opinion on basketball. Some of y'all might disagree. You know what I mean? But argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history. Flops. He know it. This ain't breaking news. This ain't, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I can clip it up, like I said. Y'all can post it on these paid accounts that y'all, these bot, whatever. That's just my opinion.
We'll post it on SportsCenter, too. Brown also said as part of the stream that the refs, quote, had an agenda against him during the series. You hear that and think what, Monica?
I think a couple things can be true. Listen, I'm a child of an official, not a pro-level official, but if you are able to get away with it, why wouldn't you? I'm not going to say that I think Joel Embiid is in fact, flopper, but I do know that manipulating the rules to your favor is a part of the game, right? The other part of this to me is this is Sunday night after you've been eliminated, and there are other issues that could have been addressed in terms of being the team to advance to the next round outside of Joel Embiid's flopping. I don't think that Jaylen Brown is inaccurate in his observation. I just find it curious that that's where you go after losing in the first round, after being one of the favorites to get out of the Eastern Conference.
Brown called for 10 offensive fouls in the first round, twice as many as the next highest player. Monica McNutt, we appreciate your perspective this morning on SportsCenter. Still ahead, 2 Eastern edition of SportsCenter, the latest on Ant-Man and Joel Embiid status ahead of their Game 1s tonight.
The Morning Buzz is brought to you by Lavazza Coffee.